You are watching
Sure, you must have
Xirtus.
talked about this again. I'm not sure how much time we want to waste with it, but maybe there's something fun to say. What are these drones supposed to be?
So Alex Jones had a recent theory that they're targeting dirty bombs. So they're like the best tech that we have from the biggest companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing and Raytheon partnerships to make super tech autonomous scanning sweepers to look for dirty bombs. So that is to say, like nuclear radiating bombs that could just cause damage without explosions. I mean, they can also cause explosions, but even just generally, radiation to the point of harming an area or causing some sort of a problem, right? Usually they're like Neptunium 237 or even uranium 238, which would be.
And before we get to the question as to why this type of hazardous material or explosive or whatever should be laying around in the US, this is one example I want to bring up because I watched some of this drone footage, of course. And then at least in one of the secondhand videos, someone mentioned, well, if you look at this guy's channel, he's also doing CGI. Because that was one of the drones I was like, why is this supposed to be a TIE fighter? So this may be a CGI one, but all the others I saw, they really look just like, bigger type blimp type drones, let's say, not as advanced and not fancy at all. Um, and I just thought it's so strange because on the committee report, that's the one thing I picked up, they were just saying, yeah, um, we don't really know anything about it, but we know it's not dangerous. I'm like, come on. I'm like, it's like this makes no sense at all. And with these, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Goiânia, Brazil accident, whatever, of '87, where some dudes broke into a laboratory or something, and they stole like some sort of radioactive bomb thing or something that was used for like radio immunotherapy, something like that, and then tried to break it apart and open it, and it took them like several weeks, and they were already getting sick from radiation poisoning, but they had like their friend come over and help them, and I don't think they completely realized it until they fully actually got it open that was what was making them sick. But then they're starting to pull it apart to sell for scrap metal, and I think it's in the favelas, so the entire neighborhood of the favelas was just contaminated, like hundreds of people died. Yeah, it was a bad situation. But theoretically, a lot of people. So hold on, I find dirty bomb, dirty bomb, radioactive bomb vaporizes aerosol radio. Except in Brazil, yeah, Goiânia, Brazil, something like that. They were getting diarrhea. One guy had a swollen hand. He didn't realize what was going on. Then the calcium chloride powder leaked out. When realizing the powder glowed blue in the dark, it brought it back home to his family and friends to show off. After 2 weeks of spreading contact and contamination causing an increasing number of adverse health effects, the correct diagnosis of acute radiation sickness was made at a hospital and proper precautions could be put into procedure. By this point, 249 people were contaminated, 151 people exhibited both external and internal contamination, of which 20 people were seriously ill and 5 people died. Okay, that doesn't sound nearly as bad as I recall it, even, but that's still horrible. That's a horrible thing to happen, right? And it was poisoned by a tea of polonium 210. Alexander Levenko was poisoned by a tea of polonium 210. These are the kinds of things that we see more commonly, like where like a reporter drinks a tea and he's killed by drinking the tea. Smoky bombs, dirty bombs. These are soft bombs, like neutrino bombs, right? It was really I was surprised. I'm always surprised we don't see so much of this. Like I expected with Iraq, you know, not to blow it up. Like I was hoping. I mean, granted, I was like 10, but in 1999, 2001, when they were talking 2002, I guess 2002, when they were going to Iraq, it was to me it
Oh,
just
wait,
seemed
Andreas, now you
obvious.
got incredibly garbled on my end, at least.
Mm, fair enough. 2002. Can you understand me now, or is it
Yes,
still bad?
yes.
Okay. 2002, I was thinking, I think it was like 13, 12 years old. And with all of the technology we knew about, it made perfect sense that if you were going to take over a country today, you would use a neutrino bomb. Because a neutrino bomb is a dirty bomb that is temporary. It has a very short half life. You would use uranium 237, right? Again, with the 237 reference to Kubrick. Because 237 very quickly, it has like a 6.8 day, like a week long half life instead of 20 years or a million years. So it happens. You come in a week later, everything's fine, everyone's dead, nothing blew up. The entire city can be wiped out in a week.
Yeah, there are this, and I mean, at the very least, this example where I agree, if the world stage would be as it is presented, it appears highly unlikely that these things had not been used by some renegade state,
Totally.
Why is Jong-un not building this type of thing or whatever, something more fancy schmancy, fancy pants, but he's using like the 50s thing, boring.